All right, Judge Jimmy Puffett. Court is in session, folks. All right, let's get the intro going here. Order, damn it, order. Yes, sir. Court is in session. I am here in my very fancy courtroom behind me, as you can see, out of my chambers. And we're here to talk about Dave Chappelle, okay? And this isn't about his comedy. This isn't about the LGBTQ community. This is about whether he's a NIMBY or not, his community, okay? The small community of Yellow Springs, Ohio, where Mr. Dave Chappelle lives, resides, if I would say. And whether he's a NIMBY or not. Let's pull up
What's a NIMBY?
a NIMBY, by the way, is a not in my backyard. This is a person that is opposed to any kind of development, particularly affordable housing, that would basically infringe on their bouginess, infringe on their views, right? On their privilege. That's essentially. So he's being accused today. He stands accused here in court today of being a NIMBY. And Big Ace here, my litigator here, he's going to defend Mr. Chappelle and say he's not saying he's not a NIMBY. And Mr. JB here is prosecuting. He's going to be saying he's an NIMBY. So we'll give you the story. Essentially, the headline is Dave Chappelle killed an affordable housing in Yellow Springs. And Dave Chappelle says he's not. And what you're seeing here basically is a plan from, and I can never get the name of this company right. Operer. Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're called.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me. Oberer.
Oberer. Okay, yes. Oberer Housing Council, right? And basically, go ahead and pull that back up. So what that is a development. And so we want to show you exactly what's happening here. They are submitting a bid so that they can develop some housing, put some new housing up. Where you see the number one up in the on the bottom right of that screen, Dave Chappelle lives somewhere in about that area, on the outskirts of that area, from what I've read. The number 5 is the area that is being donated. Number 4 is going to be developed with townhomes. And you can see right there, number 3, 3-bedroom duplexes. The number 5 area is the area that is really in question here, because Dave Chappelle is claiming that there's language in this proposal that is false, that he's not an NIMBY because this company is being what would you say, facetious. They're not really having affordable housing and urban development in their best interests. They're just trying to make money. Others are saying, and many others are saying, no, that's not the case. Dave Chappelle is blocking progress of urbans and progress of less fortunate, like where he came from. So these folks are here to argue. I'll let you guys have it.
Prosecution always goes first. Is that me?
And there's other evidence. Yeah. There's other evidence here that we'll show later on. But go ahead, gentlemen.
All right, I guess I'll go first. Tying my tie here. The argument is Dave Chappelle a NIMBY, a person who says not in my backyard? All right, from the facts that I have gathered, and forgive me because this is a very complex situation with a lot of parties, a lot of hands, a lot of decisions. But again, we're arguing about Dave Chappelle today. Oberer had a plan, like the judge said, to create these types of home. A bunch of units, you said it, duplexes, single family, townhomes. Great. That was their plan. That was a year or two in planning, by the way, between the village and Oberer. This was a group decision. Come Monday or come recently, Dave Chappelle comes in and says, no, not in my backyard. He even threatened to pull out his investments from the town because he didn't want the whole development.
I think we have a video, by the way, if you want to play the video. It's okay.
Please. Hi, I'm Dave Chappelle. I just want to say, and Marianne, I could talk to you about this privately.
He's quite upset.
I don't know why the village council would be afraid of litigation from a $24 million a year company while they X out a $65 million a year company.
So
I cannot
not
believe
bluffing,
you making an audition for you. You look like clowns.
He's very upset. And what he's saying here is that Dave Chappelle's recently
that's all. Thank you.
Put in some plans to build a development around that same area. And you can see right there, that's Dave Chappelle's site for a restaurant and comedy venue.
Just down
he
the
does
street.
have a vested interest in it.
He does have a financial vested interest, okay, mind you. So it seems to everybody that he doesn't want this, period. All right. And there's some verbiage about affordable housing. Again, I don't think we're arguing that. Okay. I say this case is very complex because there is a group of the village who also didn't want this, but they didn't want it for the reasons that the media would have you believe that about gentrification. There are people in the village who are worried about that. Okay. The village was willing to compromise. Maybe let's revise the plan if it got voted down. Dave Chappelle said no. Dave Chappelle does not want the development there. Period. From what I'm telling you, because they nixed this affordable housing thing. Ober is still going to build. They're cutting trees down today. They're going to go back to reverting to the original plan, which was 140 single house units. Fuck all affordable housing. That's not part of the plan. So they're still going to build. So what was the actual outcome of this? Nothing. Whether Dave Chappelle did this to halt no or just to put a kink in the cogs, as they say, or whatever, I don't know. But the building is still happening. So what are we arguing about, Dave Chappelle? Are we arguing about public housing, or are we arguing about somebody building in your backyard? You didn't fight for more public housing. You threatened to pull out your money because you don't want a development in your backyard. That's why he's a NIMBY. It has nothing to do with affordable housing because things can be changed. No. He's a NIMBY, not in my backyard.
Big Ace? Argument here?
Listen, you can get emotional all you want, JB. You get all emotional about it, but at the end of the day, it's real simple. It was a half-cocked plan. He's been clear about that. His people have been clear about that. There was no clear plan for affordable housing. It was all smoke and mirrors. All the houses that were going up were starting at $300,000. The average income, the average family in that house, in that area, okay, can afford a house of about $215,000. So what was that doing? The reason that they opposed it was not because of affordable housing. It was because they were catering to people outside of that community. The people from that community would not have been able to afford those homes. So just like they said, gentrification, people with deeper pockets and more money were going to come in and push the people who built that community out. That's not fair. That doesn't seem right to me. However, when he talked about it, first of all, the plan's not dead. They said they can go back and that they would consider looking at it if they brought a revised plan that really had a true plan for affordable housing. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I call my first witness, okay? And that's going to be my boy Cash. Because Cash did a little bit of research on this as well. So I want Cash to go ahead and tell we
have a witness here.
Okay? A little bit more of those details. Now, Cash, let me ask you my first question. Do you believe that Dave Chappelle is a NIMBY?
No, not at all.
All right. So now my next question is, can you explain to us and give us a better outline of how that plan, that half-cocked plan, as it's been called, was really supposed to come about?
I mean, I don't even really have to show anything. I'm gonna go ahead and just refer to this picture right here. Look at section 5. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth. You see that? You see 5? Why is it so much smaller than all the other shit? That alone makes me fucking close my case. Fuck you. You're not even giving, like, you could have given section 4 over to fucking affordable housing, but you didn't. You donated the least amount of land possible to be like, I'm doing something good, but I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna make billions of dollars over here, but don't look over here. Don't look over here at all. Look at this section. Look at section 5. Section 5, guys. Section 5. Look at that. Hey, he's trying to cancel that. He's only canceling that. That's all the headlines say. They don't talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, or any of that shit. They only talk about 5. So that's why I fucking side with A's. And fucking, in my opinion, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit of a biased witness, but
listen, from my position and my facts and what I'm reading, okay, Ober and the Village hashed out a plan that I'm reading you, quote, from thereason.com. Eventually, Ober and Yellow Springs hashed out a plan for a neighborhood featuring 64 family homes, 52 duplexes, and 24 townhome units. The latter two types of units would sell for about $100,000 less.
Pull up that one that says Yellow Springs proposal.
So that's why I'm saying that this is very convoluted, a little complex.
So what you're looking at right here,
there were multiple people. Dave Chappelle wasn't the only guy at that meeting speaking out against it.
What you're looking at right here is the actual proposal to the Village Council from Ober. And you can see the PUD, the PUD plan, or I don't know if it's PUD or PUB, is the one that is describing the affordable housing. And you can see right there, they plan to put 54 single-family houses, 52 duplexes, and I believe 24 townhomes. And there was exactly, like you said, 1.7 acres of donated land that was to be used to develop apartments or more, something like that. Yeah, acres for 20 to 30 units of infrastructure and village control. So 20 to 30 apartment units that are specifically, I believe, rent controlled. I'm not sure if the townhomes or the duplexes, I got to believe that a townhome or duplex could be considered affordable housing. I'm not sure if, based on the language.
Sure.
The other one, current zoning, is what JB is referring to, is saying that they're reverting back to by not choosing the PUD plan, which is basically single family only. So it really helps no one. By the way, I have read both. I have read stories that have said both progress has halted until they come up with a better plan. And I've read stories that have said progress is moving forward with the original. So that's one thing that makes it difficult, because I cannot find a for sure source.
And I'll take that too, and you use my closing argument here. Okay, I believe that they're reverting back. With the Village, you don't want affordable housing, fine. We're gonna go back. We originally agreed that you guys signed for is our single family homes. I believe that's what's happening, and that's where my argument is. Now, instead of getting, call it 20 houses at 100,000, you're getting Zippo. Are you okay with that? I don't know. Big A said that they are open to renegotiations, fine. But as of Monday, they are taking trees down. How long are those negotiations going to last? I know we got to build these houses because I got to get paid, right? I'm just going to leave it at that. NIMBY. Dave Chappelle.
Listen, at the end of the day, the what they're moving forward with, the company is the one that said, okay, well, we're going to revert to the other one. The town and the people in the town have said, come to us with something that makes more sense, and we'll revisit it, and let's make this work.
This is a private company who paid for this land. They have no, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out. No incentive to do anything anymore. We gave you a plan, you didn't like it. Now we're gonna go with what we originally wanted to, which is make millions of dollars cash with zero affordable housing. So that's where I'm at. NIMBY.
Any closing arguments, Big Ace?
Listen, at the end of the day, he told the world what he was doing.
It's true.
It's very simple. Come to us with a valid plan, and we'll talk about it. What sense would it make for anybody to approve a half-ass plan that had no? Yes, we're going to donate this land for affordable housing, but there was no plan for when the affordable housing was going to get built, how it was going to get built,
timeline.
What they were going to do. There was absolutely no timeline. So for all we know, they were going to leave that land there and just let it go up and wait until and see what happens. And part of that land was also supposed to be for parks and stuff like that, so it wasn't all housing either. So the bottom line is, what's the point? It's like, don't tell me you're going to give me something and then we don't have a plan for what we're going to do with it. That is the biggest point of contention. Come to us with a valid plan and we will revisit this situation. If they choose not to do that, that's on them. But I'm not going to allow you to come into my neighborhood and fuck shit up with a half-ass plan that's not going to benefit anybody but you.
Yeah, this is a very, very difficult case. Very difficult case because I'm trying to look at it on both sides. I'm trying to look at this from not using the perspective of being somebody who has needed affordable housing. You know what I mean? Here's how I feel. On one side, I agree with the notion that you come to me with a plan that I disagree with, and I wish I could have. I want you to give me a better plan. I also feel that if this company said these are the plans that we're going with, choose one or the other, and you know that progress is going to happen either way, then I think that there could be a situation where there might be some NIMBY trying to save face by saying, "Oh well, this is actually what's happening." Yeah. And reading the documents, right, and seeing how close Dave Chappelle lives to the would-be development. Listen, I know that rich people don't want people who live in apartments living close to them no more than they want people who live in duplexes and townhomes living close to them. I don't want you living in my mansion if you live in a duplex. So you keep it single family homes, and we know there's only one type of person that can afford to live here. Go ahead, please.
Before you're ruling, my question.
I'm not making a ruling yet. I'm just saying how I feel.
To do with that. If he was, right? If he was a NIMBY, if that was the case, if that's such a thing, at the end of the day, when we really stop and think about it, put yourself in the shoes of a millionaire who invests money into his home, his neighborhood, his area. This is millions of dollars. So now you stand to lose millions of dollars.
NIMBY.
Because they decide, I'm going to put up a damn housing project down the block from you. I'm not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong. However, at the end of it, but is he wrong for that?
But the other side of that argument is that they're not putting enough apartments. So they're not putting up a housing. For that proposal, they're not putting up a housing.
I don't agree.
All I'm saying is, you're coming out of this as a way greedy shit right now. The reason why I'm fucking siding with you is because I think that the housing project should be bigger. I think it should be half the fucking size.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Project or the sold houses are for. Like it shouldn't be just like like 1/5 of this. It should be exactly half, and that would be equal. And an actual plan, like you were saying, of an actual date to start those said homes. Because if I was Dave Chappelle, I want those fucking the poor people at my shows. They're probably my actual fans.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. All I'm saying is, to try to look at it from a different perspective. Right? If I'm a businessman and I have a business, right, and you doing something in my part of town is going to ruin my business, do I not have the right to speak up and say?
You definitely do. Here? Yes, you definitely do. My question to that would be, where does it end?
That's just looking at it from a different point of view.
Yeah,
I agree with it.
From my point of view, the way I look at it is, where does it end? When rich folks don't like the way things are done, where does it end? You have influence, you're famous, you have money, you have power. It's very easy to get up and say, well, you know what? If you guys don't play ball the way I want to play ball, I'm going to take my ball home. I'm going to take my ball and go home.
Forced to change.
And I worry about that. I worry about the slippery slope behind that. What's next? You know, what's next? The next time Dave Chappelle doesn't like the way things are going in his town, he's going to threaten to pull out again, and they're going to have to do things the way he does. I don't like the fact that Dave Chappelle is in the middle of developing an $1 point something million comedy club and restaurant. And this really seems like he's trying to keep the riffraff out. Now, that doesn't mean I don't agree with the fact that they could do more. They could do more. But I believe that if it's one or the other, I haven't heard Dave Chappelle or any of his people make a reasonable argument on what realistically can be done. You're asking a company who's given their best proposal to now, hey, start all over, change the way you do business because I don't like it. I think it's a matter of opinion on whether they think this is half-cocked, whether they think that this is BS or not. Yes. Could there be more affordable housing? Could there be more apartments? Absolutely. I don't believe that the cost of living in a townhome or a duplex is going to be over $250,000. I believe that those places are designed to probably give people a little bit in the middle class, probably a little bit more of a chance.
Yep.
And I think the apartments are for more of the people, the broke people who really need it, without letting the riffraff in. I honestly, what I got from the proposal personally, love me or hate me, was a company's best attempt to meet both sides, right? Please the quiet community of Yellow Springs, as well as make themselves and the surrounding businesses some money. Because that's what it's all for at the end of the day. Okay. It's not that company's responsibility to provide affordable housing, but they say we're donating. That land is donated. They said, yeah, we don't know exactly what we're going to do. We might get around to it. Sure, I'd like a little bit better from you, but they are donating that land. And this is the only reason why I'm going to call Dave Chappelle a NIMBY. He's over 50 or close damn near to it. He's rich. He meets a certain demographic. He sounds like an old booming ass NIMBY. Dave Chappelle, I love you, but you're a NIMBY.
I think you made one good point that I think is a little hypocritical of Dave Chappelle. He's developing a restaurant that costs millions of dollars. So if it's really about that, why don't you do more? And again, this is hard, man, because I want more. I understand everybody's position. I want more housing, but it is a private company, and they're the private company, and bottom line, it's my money.
And don't think for 1 second, Dave Chappelle lives in Yellow Springs. If you saw the documentary on his last comedy special, he lives in Yellow Springs because he doesn't want to be bothered by the average person. Because he knows in Yellow Springs, he's not a celebrity. Because he grew up there, people know him there. He can live an average life. You start letting just anybody in.
Right. You said they're fans, right? You said his fans. You let his fans come in, and now it's not so quaint anymore. It sounds very NIMBY. Feels very NIMBY. Sure, I
agree with your point, Big Ace. But I feel that Dave Chappelle is an NIMBY.
Case closed. NIMBY.
Hey guys, it's Frank the Tank here. And if you like what you saw in today's episode, make sure to hit that subscribe button below. And for all new fresh content, go ahead and click right on over there. Watch out, Big Ace. And if you want to watch some of our more classic episodes, go ahead and click right on that way. Every week Wednesday in the Cypher with the Podheads.